A short blurry clip, a single gesture, and suddenly the entire internet is asking the same question. Did we miss something all along? In the weeks following Menglong's heartbreaking passing, one old video, just a few seconds long, has come roaring back into the spotlight, pulling a famous co-star into the storm. But here's the real twist. This story isn't only about what's in the clip, it's about what grief can make us think we see. Stay with me because once you hear the full context, this viral moment takes on a completely different meaning. In the weeks after Menglong's passing, the silence around the details of his final days felt almost as heavy as the loss itself. Fans were given a brief official explanation and then, almost suddenly, nothing. No gradual closure, no careful answers, just a line drawn under a life that meant so much to so many. In that emotional vacuum, people did what human beings have always done when confronted with something they cannot understand. They went back in time searching for signs. They rewatched old dramas, behind-the-scenes footage, interviews, and light-hearted moments that now seem to carry a different weight. Within that wave of revisiting the past, one particular clip surfaced. A short video from an event where you appeared alongside a famous senior colleague. The moment had existed for years, unnoticed, unremarkable. But grief has a way of sharpening the eye. What was once ordinary suddenly felt charged with hidden meaning. The clip did not go viral simply because it existed. It exploded because the audience was already in a heightened emotional state, wanting explanations where none had been offered. The video became less a piece of entertainment history and more a mirror for collective feelings, confusion, sadness, and a deep unresolved need for clarity. In that sense, the clip's virality says as much about the public's pain as it does about the image on the screen. The clip itself is deceptively simple. A staff member steps forward with a phone, edging into the frame at a busy promotional event. The senior actress, focused on the task in front of her, reaches out, nudges the device away and delivers a brief remark that, when stripped of tone and context, sounds uncomfortably sharp. It is the sort of fleeting workplace interaction most people forget within seconds. Yet, once this fragment was pulled out and replayed online, it began to live a completely different life. Without the noise of the crowd, the pressure of the schedule, and the shared professional understanding on set, viewers were left only with a gesture and a sentence. From there, imagination took over. Some saw rejection, others saw distance. A few went further, interpreting it as evidence of a deeper conflict that had been concealed from the public eye. The reality is that human communication is full of quick, functional exchanges that can look harsh when isolated. In a high-pressure environment, professionals sometimes speak the language of efficiency, not warmth. Online, however, the clip was no longer part of an ordinary workday. It became a symbol replayed thousands of times, slowed down, dissected frame by frame. The focus shifted from the event itself to what people wanted the moment to mean. The more the video spread, the further it drifted from the day it was actually filmed. Eventually, as the clip gathered momentum and speculation intensified, those who had been present felt compelled to speak. Staff who understood the circumstances of that day stepped forward and offered something the internet rarely provides: context. They explained that the phone had strayed too close to the main camera, threatening to disrupt the recording and interfere with the planned coverage of the event. The remark that felt jarring in isolation was, according to those witnesses, delivered in the tone of a workplace aside. A quick, half-joking instruction in the middle of a chaotic schedule. It was not directed at you, nor did it reflect tension between colleagues. It was a moment of practical problem-solving, caught at an unfortunate angle. For those willing to listen, this clarification quietly deflated many of the more extreme interpretations. It reminded people that an event set is not a drama script. There are cues to follow, deadlines to meet, and images to protect. In that environment, even kind people can sound firm when they are trying to safeguard the work of an entire team. However, clarification always travels slower than rumor. By the time the explanation emerged, the narrative had already been reshaped online. The clip remained, but its meaning had been gently but firmly pulled back towards reality, asking viewers to reconsider what they thought they knew. Beneath all the discussion about that video, there is a quieter truth that is easy to overlook. This is not simply a story about a gesture or a sentence. It is a story about loss, and about the human need to understand why painful things happen. When someone like Menglong, who brought warmth and comfort to millions, suddenly disappears from the world, it leaves behind a space that facts alone cannot fill. So people reach for meaning. They scrutinize timelines, revisit interactions, and question whether small moments were actually unspoken cries for help or hidden signals of a heavier burden. It is not necessarily malice that drives this behavior, but a mix of love, regret, and helplessness. The question beneath the surface is simple. Could we have seen this coming? When the official story feels incomplete, suspicion grows almost naturally. Unanswered questions are uncomfortable. They push the mind to look for patterns, even where none exist. In that emotional state, an ordinary workplace interaction can be recast as a clue, and a shared past as a mystery waiting to be solved. What many viewers are really searching for is not someone to blame, but a way to live with what has happened. They are seeking reassurance that the world makes sense, that no one suffers in silence without being noticed. It is a deeply human search, but one that can easily drift into unfair conclusions if not held with care. This story also highlights a broader phenomenon of our time, the rise of what might be called clip culture. We increasingly experience people's lives not through full conversations or complete events, but through fragments: 10 seconds here, a cropped frame there, a quote detached from the paragraph around it. These pieces are then passed from screen to screen, stripped of the details that once anchored them. In such a culture, nuance becomes fragile. Tone, context, and intention struggle to survive the journey. A practical instruction can be mistaken for aggression. A tired expression can be read as resentment. A passing glance can be turned into a headline. The shorter the clip, the more space there is for projection. Viewers pour their own feelings, fears, and assumptions into the gaps. When grief and anxiety are already present, those projections become even stronger. A community in pain sees more than an action. It sees a story that explains its hurt. Algorithms, meanwhile, reward whatever keeps people watching and reacting, not necessarily what is fair or balanced. The result is a distorted mirror. The image is real, but the reflection is not. Recognizing this does not mean dismissing all concerns, but it does urge us to slow down, to ask what might be missing from the frame, and to remember that a person's character cannot be accurately captured in a handful of viral seconds. Amidst the noise of speculation and debate, it is important not to lose sight of the person at the center of all this, Menglong. Long before his name became entangled in online theories, he was simply an actor working hard to build a career, navigating the same demanding schedules and public scrutiny that many entertainers face. Colleagues have described him as gentle, diligent, and consistently respectful, someone who carried his roles with sincerity rather than spectacle. For many fans, his performances were a source of comfort during difficult days, a reminder that stories can heal, even if they are fictional. His passing has felt personal to them, not because they knew him privately, but because his work accompanied them through their own lives. That connection is real, and it deserves to be honored with dignity. A quiet tribute to you means shifting the focus away from endless suspicion and back towards what he actually left behind. Characters that touched people, moments of genuine warmth in interviews, and a reputation for professionalism that those around him continue to recall. It also means acknowledging the wider lesson his story brings to light: the need for better support, transparency, and understanding within the industry. Remembering him as kind, dedicated, and influential is not only a way of respecting his memory, but also a gentle reminder to treat those still here with more care. If you want more thoughtful, up-to-date stories from the world of Cient, told with respect, clarity, and heart, make sure to subscribe to Update X24H. Thank you so much for watching. Your support means the world, and it helps us keep honoring the people behind the headlines. Until the next video, take care of yourselves, and don't forget to stay with Update X24H for the latest updates.